Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a Sunday edition of HomeFront Sitrep. Hopefully, everybody had a good week and a good weekend. How are you, Miss Candace?
I'm wonderful.
You're wonderful.
It was a great weekend.
It was a great weekend. It was a beautiful weekend too. Wasn't too cold, wasn't too warm. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. Hopefully, everybody out there in Facebook world, LinkedIn, and YouTube had a great week as well. I know we had a pretty good week. My daughter had prom yesterday. She looked amazing.
She was beautiful.
Mom and sister did the hair and makeup for her, so saved us a buttload of money because we didn't have to pay somebody to do that. So it saved us a buttload of money.
Well, she had her ring ceremony this week too.
Yeah, and she had her junior ring ceremony because she will be a senior next year in high school here in beautiful Bullitt County.
Your princess isn't a baby no more.
No, she's not. And, she's both my children plan on going in the military. Grace, the oldest, wants to be a FBI agent when she gets out of. That's her end goal, is to be an FBI agent. Mm-hmm. So I told her, I said, look, if you're wanting to go to the FBI, you need to go, college right after high school, but you need to go in Air Force and have, become an officer. So she's going to go through the process of becoming an officer in the Air Force, and she's going to, I don't know what she's going to do. We'll have to figure all that out. But
you know what I could picture her as?
What?
Miss Congeniality. It's so Grace.
You need to move over some so you're on the screen. Well, but anyway, I'm excited, man. Today we got one of my good friends. He's an Army veteran. I've known him for probably about almost a year, maybe right around a year. He's an author. He wrote a book called I Am Pitts, Memoirs of an American Patriot. So let's bring up
He's local.
And he's local. That is true. So let's bring up Mr. Dexter Pitts to the stage. What's up, sir?
What's going on, man? How y'all doing?
Doing wonderful on this Sunday night. How was your week and your weekend, my friend?
My weekend was yesterday was filled with a lot of regret because when I signed up for overtime and off-duty work last week or the week before, it seemed like a good idea until I was sitting on my couch and then I actually had to go in and I was like, this was stupid, man. Why did I do this to myself? So, the money always seems good when you think about it. Then the reality of actually doing the work, and I was there last night. I was like, man, working at a bar, like, bro, I'm just ready to go home, man.
Off-duty hours, I know, because I was trying to be a police officer for, in 2005, I went through the process 6 times.
What?
I went through the process. LMPD, Chief White was the chief at the time. And
that's who hired me.
Officer Bobby Evans was my background
No,
investigator.
Bobby.
And I went through the process. I went through the process 6 times, and at this time is when they were uh, being
Like
very
strict.
careful. Yeah, being very careful
Uh,
on who they bring into the fold. And literally, I went through the process 6 times. The first time I went through, um, got through the original PFT and the original written and oral exam at the beginning. I got all the way up to where we were doing the polygraph and no. Uh,
Did you lie?
no, did not lie. But anyway, I went through the process 6 times
He's a Marine.
and
Said
passed. Like
I did
literally,
not
I
inhale.
passed. Yeah, I passed everything, and I just didn't get selected. And then on the final time I went through, I was so with everything else that went on, which I won't talk about online. Uh, Everything else that went on through the hiring process. Kind of shaded me. Like I was like, fuck this. This is, I got kind of pissed off because literally the first 3 times my investigator who was doing my background stuff went on vacation and said, hey, I'm gonna put you off with my people in my crew and they'll take care of you. Well, they didn't take care of me. And he's calling me from vacation. Hey, why didn't you show up? And I'm like, dude, I didn't get a phone call, email, no, nothing. So I had to wait for the next class. So
Wow.
I got really shaded, and then on the last one, dude, I went in there and really.
Did who, Julie? Who?
She's lying. But I got shaded, and I was like, nah, dude, screw this.
She asked a question. How was that lying?
Because
She didn't make a statement. She asked a question. Did you do it 6
yes,
times?
I did go through 6 times, and my wife
You know,
will tell.
6 times. I made one-time wonder, man. I got on.
Hell yeah, no, you gotta like it, and
Jade.
the funny thing is, so I
I know
already
guys
have
that
my
did it
military.
10 times, man, and finally got hired, bro. So yeah,
Yeah,
trust me, 6 ain't bad.
4 more. Just
Yeah.
try 4 more.
No, and the funny thing is that like I was already in telecommunications at the time, and I was making really really good money at that time. And if I had went through the process one more time, I would have took probably a $15,000 to $20,000 pay cut to become a introductory police officer because of where the payment, the starting salary was.
Hey, they're paying good right now.
But they are
They
paying
are. Hey,
good.
bro. Hey, I took a pay cut as coming in as a janitor, going to a cop, bro. I was
Oh
a
man.
VA at the VA hospital. I was a janitor, bro. Took like a $2 pay cut. I was like, what? But yeah, she said, man, now, boy, they can't get enough people in the door. They just need a pulse. And they'll
Yeah,
They're
get you in
throwing
there, bro.
money now.
It's bad. It's really bad, yo. And I'm just like, and it's the same with the military right now, but they're taking any
Is
and
that
everybody,
scary
man.
for you though? Like to think about
Oh,
somebody that's supposed to be out there
yes.
and has your back, and like
Yes.
it's a breathing
And
body.
I am more afraid for the civilians, for the taxpayers, yo, that you're entrusting these people to protect the city and the citizens.
Right.
And these people, one, can hardly pass a PT test because they're lowering standards, yo. And then you got people with questionable integrity, and we can't have that in this profession. You have to have the utmost. I mean, cops aren't perfect, but there's no making a mistake and going out of your way to make a mistake.
Right.
We got a lot of people going out of the way to do the wrong thing, man. And when you cut corners, the citizens are going to suffer in the profession.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're seeing it
somebody's
now,
gonna-
man.
Yeah, somebody's going to wind up dying when you cut corners. I mean, it's even with the military. If you cut corners, somebody's going to wind up getting hurt somewhere down the line. So do me a favor. We didn't really. Let's introduce you. Let's in your own words introduce yourself and your military career and stuff like that.
Yeah. So my name is Dexter Pitts. Believe it or not, I'm an Army brat. I was born in Fort Knox, Kentucky, baby. But my family's from Mississippi, so I got deep roots in the South, man. I'm the product of cotton picking Negroes, as I tell people, because literally that is what my family did growing up. My mom, my dad, my grandfather. He passed last March, but this man picked cotton for 55 years, man. So, I mean, he was a hard man, but a good man. And I didn't even know that recently. I did not know that he didn't know how to read. So he made sure that all his sons knew how to read and were educated because he wanted it better for his kids. Yo, so my dad joined the military. And funny thing is, growing up, I hated the military because I was always moving around. And for me, I would make friends and then I would have to lose friends because we were moving. And I mean, and I was just when I grew up, I was just like, there's no way I'm ever joining the military. In my mind, I was going to be an NFL guy or I was going to be a pro wrestler, man. It was one or the other. One or the other. And legit, that was like my future. I didn't like school. I hated school. And it was sports. And then I started hating playing football in high school. So I was like, man, it's just going to be pro wrestling. And then, 9/11 happens. And I had this awakening within me, the patriotism that I never knew I had within me, man. And that's when I decided I was going to join the Army, man. And I tell people it's kind of a crazy thing when 9/11 happened, in September. And then the movie Black Hawk Down came out like right after that. And I just remember sitting in the movie theater watching these guys on TV, the Rangers. And I'm like, man, I want to be one of those guys. And little did I know I was not Ranger material, which I came to that conclusion real quick. But man, so I signed up and went to the recruiter like everybody from our generation after 9/11, man. Went straight to the recruiter and, and I said, hey, I want to be infantry ranger. And they were like, well, we can't get you ranger. You're kind of dumb. Your ASVAB score is kind of low, bro. Like, I was like, man, that's fine.
Right.
I don't care. But I didn't care, man. I just wanted to get into the fight. I wanted a big gun and I wanted to go kill the people that attacked our So I get in on this 5th, 2003. I'm infantry. Go graduate OSUT in one station unit training in about November of 2003, and I get signed to the 10th Mountain Division in New York. And for people that don't know, the 10th Mountain Division is one of the most deployed military divisions in the military. So I get there like December, and then I'm boots on the ground in June in Iraq. It's in Kuwait, but then we got Iraq the following time. But yeah, that's pretty much the start of who I am, man. And just like it's just the story of our generation, just like the World War II guys that were young men when, Pearl Harbor was attacked. All of us still remember, 9/11, man, where we were and what we were doing. It's just a moment in history that kids today, it blows my mind that I talk to kids that weren't even alive then, and I'm like, man, and then I think about the war on terror and I'm like, the war on terror was 20 years and I fought in it the second year. And I'm like, damn, I'm getting old, man.
We are getting old. That's like my oldest daughter's 17. She was not born before 9/11, and it's just like, I remember, I had just got out of the Marine Corps. Like literally, I was on terminal leave, August 1st of 2001. I was on terminal leave. I was back home. I had got a temporary job working in a factory, and 9/11 happened because I had just EAS September 1st. I mean, literally got my EAS after my terminal leave was up, and 9/11 happened. And as soon as I saw that, I gave my mom a call, and I was like, hey, I said, be on the lookout for a Western Union and she goes, what's that going to be about? I said, that's going to be my papers telling me that I need to report back to Campbell's June for combat refresher training. And sure enough, a couple weeks later, we got the papers. Please report back to
Western Union.
Yeah, they still use Western Union.
What a time. Do they really?
Yeah. Yes,
man,
that's how you, like, if they recall you, that's what you'll get. You'll get a Western Union, and that's how. Because like when you get out on INR in the Marine Corps, you have to report once a year to a reserve station that they choose, wherever the closest one is, and you have to make sure all your paperwork, your HOMA records updated, everything. That way, if anything breaks out, they can get you by Western Union. And
really, oh wow.
And here's the thing: I didn't have to sign for that paperwork. If somebody at that residence signed for that Western Union and I didn't report back, I could have went in the brig.
AWOL without knowing, boy.
Right.
So here's my wife. She said Western Union. That's when we broke up, and that's true. When I got to Western Union, we broke up.
Poor Julie. It's interesting that, talking about 9/11, like our generation, we know where we were. We know exactly where we were sitting when somebody turned that TV on and we saw everything that was happening. And I was thinking about this, funny enough, yesterday for some reason. And you think about like your parents and things that lived kind of like through Vietnam, and you wonder like, why did that when we were little, like, or younger, like you wonder, why did that affect them so much? Or why is that something like they weren't part of it? And so then our generation living through something like 9/11 and realizing the impact it has even 20 something years later. And you go, okay, that makes sense. Like you can't imagine like some of these other wars and stuff like that, you know, these generations went through, and like, you get it. So thinking about that younger generation now, like my daughter was 11 days from being 2 years old. She don't remember any of that.
Right.
And so it doesn't affect her in any way, not on this personal, sentimental level like it does us.
Well, you know, it's kind of like, you know, Vietnam, World War II. You know, we learned about that from history books.
Yeah.
And now, you know, I always, as growing up, I was like, man, you know, I want to be part of history, you know, because I want to be in the history books. And, you know, 9/11 happened, and I'm like, oh, damn, now I'm part of history, you know, because I was there. I was involved with, you know, the war in Iraq and stuff like that. And now my kids are learning from a history book what happened during 9/11 and stuff. You know? And they don't even, the curriculum for history has changed over the years. Like some of the stuff that we learned, some of the stuff that we learned growing up, they don't teach anymore.
Don't get me started on all that DEI bullshit.
Or
get me
it's
fired up early.
Or it's a jaded version of history. And Julie, just they don't have books.
Right.
Everything's done on
tablets.
Computer nowadays. Yeah, everything's done on a computer nowadays.
But you know, in my book, man, I actually wrote about a part in there. But when I realized I was part of history of it, baby, we had been in Iraq maybe a couple of weeks, and I remember my buddy was like, "Man, let's go to the chow hall real quick." So we're walking to the chow hall, and we walk out, and I'm on Camp Victory in Baghdad, and we see this giant, ominous black cloud of smoke just way off in the distance of Baghdad. We're like, "Oh, what the hell's that?" And we walk into the chow hall. And this is back when they had those big old giant flat TVs, man. They were like huge, they weigh like 200 pounds. So, and then we're sitting there seeing ends on, and then I just remember looking at the screen, you know, multiple car bombs striking Baghdad, and I realized that cloud of smoke I was seeing, the entire world was seeing that, and I'm sitting here front row and center for it, man. I was just like, I'm a part of something that's pretty big right now, dude. And it was an amazing feeling. I was like, that's why I'm here, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy, you know, when we got recalled. So it was the first time the Marine Corps ever activated the individual ready reserves. And, you know, we got sent back to Camp Lejeune for combat refresher training. And they're like, well, so they put us with what they call a mobilization support battalion. So technically we were active, but we weren't active duty. So we were basically like an active reservist. And they're like, well, we're going to send you guys over to Iraq and you're going to do working parties. I'm like, no, you called me from my civilian job to go to war. Let me go to war. I'm not, you know, it's just like, so it took me a little while to get, you know, everything lined out through the career planner to get re-enlisted and all that good jazz. But I did officially go back to my old unit and continue mission. You know, that's to be part of history, even though it's not history that we wanted, but to be part of history is just, you know, it's just
pretty cool, man.
It is pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your book, Mr. Dexter.
Can I ask a question about the book?
Absolutely. Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Because you said something really important about your grandfather, and it intrigued me. And you said you just recently learned that he never knew how to read. So he passed away last March?
Yeah. Yep. 85 years old.
My condolences for that. But my curiosity comes to, you wrote a book. His grandson wrote a book.
Yeah.
Like, was that something he was able to see? I mean, I don't know what kind of health or something like that he was in, but was he able to see that and experience that, or somebody share that with him?
So he did not, because my family, if you read my book, I lived a pretty tragic life with my mom's suicide and sister running off with money, and my dad was involved with my mom's suicide and after, you know, abuse. So I didn't have a connection with my family for years, but it changed for me when I had children, and I would look at my kids and I would say, man, like, they see who I am, but they don't know who our family is and where our family's from. But so I reached out to my grandparents after many years. I mean, it had been like 12 years. I hadn't talked to them and hadn't seen them. And I was like, hey, I want to come home. Pardon me if I cry, man. It gets emotional, man.
It's okay.
But I was like, man, I wanted my kids to see where our family was from, because all they know is this life that we live here in Kentucky, in Indiana. And I wanted my kids to see where our roots are. So I remember, we drove down to Mississippi, man. It's like an 8-hour drive, and you just see the landscape change, and you start seeing the cotton fields. And my kids are like, what's that? Is it snow? I'm like, no, that's cotton. I was like, this is where our family's from. I was like, this is where generations and many generations of our family worked, slaves out here. And then I just remember my kids finally meeting them. It just warmed my heart, man, just seeing them with their great grandparents. Because, I had a part where I got to see my great grandparents, and I wanted my kids to see that history, and just kind of get that feel and see this is the soil that we worked, and this is where we're from. And guess what? Regardless, we ain't victims, because my granddaddy was not a victim. That was the hardest working man. This 2 houses cash. 2 houses cash. That man couldn't read, but that man knew how to work and knew how to take care of his family. And that's all the thing he kept saying was, man, I'm sorry, grandson. I'm sorry we missed out on all this time, but we love you. And, I didn't really bring up the book to them because there's a lot of stuff in the book. There's a lot of pain. And my family being, I don't know if y'all know old Black people from Mississippi or not, but we don't do emotions well. We don't do emotions well. But and I tell people, I understand, because being there in that time frame, you couldn't show weakness because of the time frame in America. So they don't do emotions well. So they just, in their mind, it's just, we got to forgive and move on. And I was asking questions, and I knew that I was asking questions I was never going to get answers to. So God had to me to where I just had to accept that I'm not going to get the answers I want, but I just want them to love on my kids and love on me, and my kids got to see that. So my grandpa didn't get to read the story, but he knows my story to a degree. He knows I got hurt in Iraq and everything, but he didn't see the book, or it didn't come up, but
I was just curious.
I know I made him
with
proud.
That being a thing, like I wonder if you don't know if he ever knew about it. Like I wonder if that was something that somebody shared.
Somebody might have. I'm sure somebody's probably said something to him, but nobody's really. It's not brought up. And the thing is, the book is, there's nothing in the book that's bad that talks about my family, makes every people look bad. It's just that's just not the type of book I wanted to write. It's just reality of people.
There's real pain in there.
There's real pain, man.
And you got to think, though, even if he did know about the book, more than likely the older generation, like my grandparents, would never come to me and say, "Hey, I'm proud of you." It's just not how they were raised.
Exactly. That's not it. That's not how it worked.
Right. And I'm sure, down in Mississippi, they're kind of the same way, just like they are here in Kentucky. Because my grandpa, he told my mom, and then when I was really young, that I was going to go in the military, and I did wind up going in the military. And I can tell you right now, even all the way up to his deathbed, he never told me he was proud of me, and I never expected him to tell me that he was proud of me or anything like that. Because for one, I wasn't raised that way. I'm raised to, be polite, kind, and humble. That's the way my mama raised me. And I tell my daughters, I'm proud of them, just because, hell, in today's society, for a student to have a 4.0 grade, GPA or higher, it's hard to do nowadays. And it's just like, and sometimes,
it's difficult.
And I have 2 daughters. They don't break into peer pressure and stuff like that. And and I think that's a testament to the wife and I on how we raised our kids.
Well, one of them may be the peer pressure.
Yeah, one of them might be the youngest. The youngest might be. She might be the bully.
Yeah, but what's weird, man, is that. Like I grew up in the same household. My mom, we're very religious family. My mom would do all the "I love you." My mom was the the warrior of God and the feminine one, loving and hugging. My dad, stone cold, bro. I mean, just no emotions. Military, 20 years. No, never. I heard him tell me "I love you" once, and when we were riding in a semi truck, and it was super awkward. It was like, I was like, supposed to say it back, like, and I'm older and have kids. I'm like, that shouldn't be the case, because my dad, as as a father and a old black dude from Mississippi, my I love you is shoes on your feet, food on the table.
Yeah.
You're not
He
starving. You're
shows his
taken care
love.
of. It's like you said.
Mm,
Now you're not going to get an I'm proud of you. I expected a I'm proud of you when I graduated from infantry boot camp. My dad was there, but didn't get an I'm proud of you. Gave me a
Yeah.
handshake and a hug. Was like, hey, you're doing what you're supposed to do. Keep it
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah.
But I realized as I've gotten older, and I don't talk to my dad anymore. We haven't talked in it's been a while, man, because of the whole situation. If you read the book, you'll see.
right.
But I tell people that, man, even as an older man now, we have to get past our emotions and realize that we do want to hear "I'm proud of you" from another man. That
Yeah.
we want some affirmation that I'm doing things right, bro. And man, so my next door neighbor Roger, old white guy, man, freaking love Roger, and man, such a great dude. And I was out cutting my grass one day, and he comes up to me, he's like, Dexter, you know what, man, this yard looks great. You're doing such a great job. And it just, man, I ain't gonna it made me how I was starved for a older male figure in my life because I don't have that, and it just kind of made me puff up like man, what
Yeah. There's
it
pride.
felt so good, and that's when it's like, man, I need a father figure, bro. Like, and I really don't
Yeah.
have one, and it's weird, man. And it just felt so good to hear affirmation from a man that I respect so much to hear, hey, man, I'm proud of you. I'm really proud of you. It felt
Yeah.
so good, dude. And I told him I didn't have a bad childhood. My dad was not a bad father. Like I didn't go without. I ain't gonna say I wasn't beat. Lord have mercy. Lord knows we got beat back in the day, bro. You know
Yeah.
Mhm.
how it is, man. But yeah, but man, I tell my son I love you. I'm proud of you. Good job. Hey, man, keep it going, man. Great work. I affirm my son to let him know that I see him, and I don't want
Yeah.
him having to guess. Does my dad love me and care? And the part for me is, man, my dad's kind of an enigma to me, bro. Like I know what he did and kind of who he was, but I don't know my father like that. When I really think about it, you're like, I couldn't tell you my dad's favorite color. I couldn't tell you my
Right.
dad's favorite TV show, basketball team, politics. I don't know. I just know he was here in my life, and he's just a guy. And I don't want my
Right.
kids to have that battle with me, which is kind of why I wrote my book too, because when I die, my kids are gonna know my father, this was my father. Dexter Pitts was my father. He was a soldier, a cop. This is what he believed, and this is what he stood for. And these are the things that he went through that made him who he is. And these are the things that I'm going to base my life on. My kids are going to know
And
me
he loved
intimately.
us.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
good and the bad. I don't want them questioning when I die who was my
Right.
father, because I question that myself now. My father's still alive and breathing and lives 15 minutes from me, and we
Yeah.
have no sort of relationship. And I was like, man, I believe in breaking generational chains, and actually that's what I'm doing with my kids, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't have a
So
bad childhood, but I'm going to make sure that my kids, where my dad failed, I'm going to make sure that I try to succeed.
Well,
yeah.
you don't want them starving for that thing that you were
No.
like that same.
So my story is a little bit different than yours. When I was growing up, it was just my mom. My dad was a summertime dad, and what I mean by that, summertime. Sometimes he was there, sometimes he wasn't there.
Oh man.
There was days growing up that my dad would come in and get us on the weekend, me and my older sister, and then he said, "Well, I'll come back in 2 weeks and pick you guys up," and he never showed up, and he didn't show up for 2-3 years down the road.
Mm.
So I was growing up. I didn't have a father figure in the home other than my mom, who was the mom and dad. Of course, now she worked 2 jobs to make ends meet, and then she had boyfriends that she was dating at the time, and one of them was very abusive. And we wound up leaving him, or I think I was 13 years old when she finally decided to leave him, and my dad came back into my life when I got older. And then, so for me, when I had kids, I was like, well, I'm going to be there for my kids. Kind of like you, breaking the generational chains. And I always said I'm gonna be here for my kids, and I have been, every step of the way. And I tell both my daughters that I love them, that I'm proud of them, that they're doing great things and stuff like that. And I think growing up the way I did molded me into the man that I am today. Kind of like with you, whether how you grew up, it molded you into who you are today. So that I love seeing that making those changes in your life so your kids know that dad's here for you, dad's proud of you. That's sometimes hard to do in today's society because there's a lot of parents out there that give a rat's ass about their kids and let the kids do whatever the hell they want. But I'm glad to see that there are still great humans out there that really take pride and interest in their kids' lives, so the kids know that they're loved and cared for. That's
Good
awesome,
men.
bro.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man. You just described Ricky Bobby, your upbringing. When I was saying the thing, I was like, this sounds like the Talladega Nights. I was like, Dad pop up every couple years and
Yeah.
Let me introduce you to David Willis.
Yeah. What's up, Rat Man? Thanks for joining in, my friend. Miss Denise, welcome too.
You know, there's something also really important to learn from this. Do good in school so you can pass as an ASFAB and be a ranger.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what's crazy? When I took the test, but it was before 9/11. So I was like, man, I mean, the Army recruiter comes in with the whole spiel, travel the world. I'm like, man, I ain't doing none of this crap. So I did the abacadabra method the entire test.
ABC,
you did
I abacadabbed it, missed passing by like 3 points.
Dexter.
And because we were going to war, they was like, do you want to retake it and see if you can get a high score? I was like, hell no, we'll give you 3 points. I was like, shit. I'm in there, bro.
No way.
Like, you're not getting a bonus.
Hey,
no
passed on a
bonus.
Technicality.
I passed. Hey, thank God for the war. Would have got it. I mean, if I would have went back and studied, I'm sure I could have done better. But I don't like taking tests, and I was like, man, 3 points and I'm in. I was like, I don't need a bonus. Like, I'm a patriot. I was like, I'm ready to go shoot somebody in the face. Abacadabra missed it by 3 points, dog. Crazy. As a matter of fact, I still have the paper.
Oh,
no way.
Dude, I wish I still had my ASFAB. I don't. Hell, that's been God, 97. So however many years ago that was.
That's a long time ago, buddy.
Yeah. But I scored
26 years ago.
I scored a 98 on my ASFAB. And my recruiter, Gunny Groach, he's like, well, what do you want to do in the military or in the Marines? I said, I want to be infantry. I said, I want to be the best of the best. Yeah, I wanted to be infantry. And then he's like,
okay,
you can have any job you want. I was like, nope, send me to infantry. And lo and behold, that's where I went. And I stayed there pretty much my whole career. So
Goodness.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Look, he's gonna find that paper.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely, man.
Oh shit, he's got it right there. Here, I'm gonna put you on full screen so we can see this.
So does that? I mean, that brings a chuckle to you, right? Like it has.
It does, man. Because I was so lazy. I tell people, it's not that I wasn't dumb. I'm dumb. I was just lazy, man. Just absolutely lazy, man.
Dang, that's funny.
And and then as I get older, I sit and think, and I'm like, man, how much better of a soldier could I have been, bro, if I had actually like applied myself, and those are the things that bother me now. Like, man, I could have done so much more better.
Yeah, but that's regret, just like yesterday, and that your extra work. God has a plan. There's a plan.
Yeah, there is a plan.
Abracadabra, one of them. It's like, this man don't need the gumption. I need him right where he's going.
It worked. Oh man,
he's still looking. Looking.
I got the paper. These are my original enlistment papers, yo. So yeah, literally, these are my original.
So that should be Army's new slogan. We'll give you 3 points. Just abracadabra.
Oh, boy, it's
friggin' hilarious.
Yeah, man. Don't be like me, kids. Actually put in effort to what you're gonna do, young people. Put in effort. Try. And
you came pretty far. Look at you. Like, you're accomplishing some stuff, Dexter.
Yeah. I still did. I still made it. And I got an early retirement out of it. So all you suckers that did 20 years,
yeah.
Took a shortcut to retirement.
And now you're an accomplished writer. Author. You got a book.
I wouldn't call it accomplished, but yes.
Hey,
there's a published book. That's accomplished.
That's accomplished. You got a book out and it's published. I mean, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there that have a story to tell, and they're sitting in a dark corner somewhere because they don't know how to get out there and do it.
I know. Everybody tells me I need to write a book. I got a few
I
different
tell people,
stories.
man, but if I can do it, anybody can do it. But it's weird because man, I hate math, but and I tell people this is crazy. I hate reading. Oh God, I cannot sit down to read.
I
But
can't
I'll
either.
listen to an audiobook all day, man. And they're like, but you wrote a book. I'm like, I write all day, man. I love writing.
Yeah.
Writing, I mean, writing
Well,
my
it's-
book was the best release I've ever had. It was the best therapy I've ever done.
Yes, or something that pen to paper, or using an
Man.
actual typewriter or something. But the great thing about this, it's a real story,
Mhm.
and that's what I love about it. When you look at an accomplished author, like that's like when you see somebody that's telling their truth, and when it has that much vulnerability in it, like that's good.
Well, here's a fun
That's
fact
something
about
to
my
sit
book
down
too.
with.
Babe. I'm literally the only active police officer in the country, babe, that went through 2020 and is still serving. That wrote a book about what it was like actually during 2020 for cops on the
Yeah.
front line. Babe. No other officer in the country's done it. And I've tried to
Yeah.
make that a selling point, but man, I tell people it's so hard to sell your own book, and it's so hard to get your story out there because I mean, social media, I mean, it's just flooded with
Mhm.
so much stuff, yo. And I tried to make myself unique, yo, but the problem is, in order to grow stuff on social media, but you got to be on social media like every day
Constantly.
with your
Right.
phone in there. Hey guys, it's me, and this is, and I'm like, I'm like, that's not the life I want to live, yo. You know, so
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want
I
to.
mean, and you got to think though, you're still an active police officer as well. So you have a day job, and then you're also a family man. So you
Yep.
definitely have that. You have to have that controlled balance between work life, family life, and author life. Yeah, you want to promote your book, and you want to get that story out there, but you also want to spend time doing your family life, and then your work life as well. So
Yes, and then all
Did you
the
ever
extra hours
find
of work.
out
yeah,
of curiosity? I mean, there's a lot of look, I'm excited to talk to you because like I'm being an active officer still and putting a book out that has to do with being an officer during those crazy times. I mean, it was some crazy times.
yeah, it was.
Are you getting much backlash from it, whether it's civilian or coworkers or anything about putting your truth out there? Like, is there
So
anything?
at the time, I'm a very extremely conservative person. So I'm, I vote Trump and all that, man. I'm all conservative, and I will say I'm a Republican, but really more, I guess, libertarian. But I guess, but man, but I'm not for none of the woke BS. But man, here's the thing about 2020 that people don't realize about Louisville Metro Police Department. We were falling apart internally and splitting at the seams due to race.
Mhm.
The worst part about 2020 and COVID in the election year, it all hit at once. I mean, places, it affected every part of my life. It affected church. I had to leave church because the people I went to church with I used to walk the streets with these people and pray and serve God with them and pray with them. And all of a sudden they turn on me and they're telling me I'm this horrible person. I mean, I would get on.
Well,
I would
because
hop
you're an
on.
officer?
Yeah, because I'm an officer
Yeah.
and because I worked for LMPD at the time, and all of a sudden I'm this horrible person just because
Whoa.
of the uniform I wear. People calling me out on the
Whoa.
live streams, yo. I mean, then you got to think. I go to get home. I want to relax. I'm gonna play some Call of Duty. You hop on Call of Duty. Black Lives Matter. This. Black Lives Matter. That. The police. And then you go to cut on a game. Black Lives Matter. The police are bad. It's everywhere, man. I was just like people kneeling for the flag, the pledge, and I'm just like, 2020 was so bad. People don't realize the places we used to go to get escape and release were taken from us.
Your
Literally,
safe
we
place.
had every place, man. I had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
I
And
stopped
not
going to
only
church,
as
yo,
a
'cause-
black man, but also as an officer.
Yeah, and it was worse because people were expecting me being black to, oh, nigga, you gonna kneel with us, ain't you, right? I'm like, hell no, I ain't kneeling with y'all, bro. Like, I'm not the same as y'all. And I would
Right.
tell people, look, man, I'm not getting into all this color BS. And the thing is, at one point in my life, when I got out of the army and I got into acting briefly, and I was on HBO documentary in 2007, James Gandolfini from The Sopranos.
Okay.
So man,
Nice.
he hooked me up with Spike Lee, and I went to Italy with Spike Lee, and I did a movie with them. And I spent so much time. Yeah, Miracle at St. Anna. I was an extra in the movie, and I was with all the actors, yo, for weeks in Italy. And little did I know, I was being groomed and molded. I was becoming a black separatist. I was becoming the dude, black power to the people. I was becoming that dude where I was, Plymouth Rock didn't land on us. No, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. I was literally becoming that dude. This was after my time in the military, where I knew that people didn't care if I was black or white, because when I got blown up on the night of January 2nd by the IED, I wasn't looking for, man, give me a black soldier here. No, it's like, bro, anybody, please, where are my boys at? And guess who was there? My boys were there for me that night. My doc was there for me. You know, my guys bandaged me up and got me in the Humvee and got me to safety. But all of a sudden, because I didn't really have an identity once I got out of the military, I was kind of lost and looking for a new tribe. I found this new tribe with all these left-leaning liberal black actors, and these guys were cool guys, and I was like, and as a black dude, I'm dark-skinned. I've always had problems with other black people because I was always made fun of for being dark-skinned. But here these guys are embracing me. Brother, your skin's beautiful, man. We got the skin of kings. And like I said, I didn't have that father figure really, and nobody really got me. And I was eating it up. And the next thing you know, bro, I was becoming militant and radical, like, just literally looking at white people like, y'all are the enemy. And then I use my family's experience to justify my hate for people that had done nothing to me. And I tell people that's the thing that going on today in America is we're using things that happened that had nothing to do with us to justify current anger.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I was doing that though. So that's why I tell people I know the playbook because I was using the playbook. Right. So when people tell me now I'm Uncle Tom and I'm a sellout, I'm like, bro, you don't even know who wrote the book, Uncle Tom. So stop using the term. It got wild, but man. And I made this complete 360 turn because I just came back to common sense when I looked at things. When I was, as a cop and I'm making all these runs I worked in the West End in the hood. I see white dudes every day going out on patrol, risking everything to go save a young black kid that's been I mean, I see this every day, and I'm just like, racist narrative that people are pushing. I'm like, that's not what's happening. That's not what's out here, but that's the narrative that everybody was catching on, man. And this is what got me about Metro. It's like, man, 2020 was literally a war. And what you need in war is cohesion and communication. And guess what? Man? We had no cohesion and communication during that time period because we had officers within the department, bro, that were splintering and becoming, I'm an officer, but I'm a black officer, And it's like, no, bro, we just need you to be blue right now because people are trying to kill us. People were threatening to come to our houses. I remember they threatened to come to my house, kill my wife, and rape my daughter. People threatening my life, dude. I remember they even put it in the book, man. It was right during the middle.
Because you were an officer, or because you're black?
Both. It didn't matter. They just hate
anybody you were wearing cops beating a black man.
Yeah. It's just being a cop. Period. It just compounded the problem that I was black, and they thought I was supposed to be with them. I remember driving home from downtown one night after the riots and getting these threats, bro. I was going down 65 South. 120 miles per hour with my lights cut off, trying to make sure nobody was following, man, zigging and zagging. I mean, I drove crazy patterns to make sure that nobody was following me. And see, people don't know this, man. This was everybody. And then I would park like a quarter or half a mile away from my apartment complex. And I would trek and walk to the complex to make sure I was still not being followed. Because I did not want anybody finding where I was.
And you're walking into work every day to go out there and protect this community and protect these civilians and you're terrified for somebody to find where you live and find your family. Because I honestly, like just listening to you, I don't think you were worried about you. You were worried about
it ain't me.
family.
I can protect me, but it's like my family. If I'm not there, I'm the man of the house, and I'm out. I'm working 20 hours a day.
So how did you, as a black man serving as an officer, continue to wake up every day and walk back into that? How did you bring yourself to do that?
As a young kid say today, I stood on business, man. I stood on my conviction of what I knew was right. I knew, listen, I tell people, man, police are not perfect. There are police officers that made mistakes. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there's no such thing as a racist police officer. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that every officer is phenomenal, spectacular, because they're not, but I stood on the word of God.
That's in every title. You look at teachers, officers, politicians.
Yeah. There's scumbags everywhere, man.
Yeah.
There's scumbags everywhere, but I knew that this is where God ordained me and destined to be. God created me to be a police officer,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody was going to run me out of my blessing, because I'd already left. Like I said, I left Metro in 2018, and I went to the Border Patrol. I was a Border Patrol agent for a year down in Arizona. But guess what? I hated it. I hated it so much that when 2020 popped off, I said, you know what? I'm going back to Louisville. I'm getting right back in the middle of the riots. And I tell you what, I never had so much peace being down there, because I knew I was supposed to be there. But regardless of the peace I had, I'm still a human. And dude, my biggest fear was getting caught in an open ambush like the officers in Dallas did in 2016 during the BLM riots. And guess what? That actually happened in September 2001 during the Breonna Taylor verdict. We were out in the middle of the street down at Brook and Broadway. We just got off a bus, man. We had been tracing protesters all night. And as we got off the bus and we were getting to the middle of the intersection, I was by this concrete pillar, and 65 was just overhead. And I remember pop, 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 multiple shots. And then I just remember, you know, training kicks in. I just remember grabbing the guy in front of me by the back of his vest, and I pulled him with me behind the pillar, took cover. And I just remember hearing just multiple, they're down, man. We got officers down. We got officers down. And then I just remember pulling out, and I know my training, I can't help those guys. People got them. Hey, bro, time to scan your sector, look for the threat.
Yep.
Somebody out here wants to kill us, man. And I just started scanning, looking for a threat, man. So we secure the area. We get those guys try to get those guys to the hospital, man. And then as soon as we're trying to get them to the hospital, somebody was like, hey, the protesters are heading to the hospital to block them. But and here's the crazy part. I think it was like a week or two prior. But man, it was 2 LA County Sheriff's deputies got shot, got ambushed, and they were trying to get to the hospital. Protesters blocked them from getting into the hospital, blocked the entrance. So we were like 6, 7, 8 blocks from U of L Hospital. We heard the protesters were going there. Dude, we started beating feet, man. It was like Black Hawk Down when they were running out of the city, bro. We were running to the hospital, full gear, full battle rattle, trying to make sure we beat these protesters there, to make sure they did not stop our guys from getting medical attention. But however, unfortunately, we ran into another large group of protesters we intercepted during that time down on East Broadway. And we had to secure these guys, but our guys did get into the hospital, and they were both okay, man. One got shot in the stomach.
Like, this is real life shit, and you experience it. And this is right here where we live. Like,
this is in Louisville, Kentucky, 2001 September.
And at
man.
that point,
I tell people,
like,
it was
I
war.
was living. Yeah, I was right at Barrett and where's the Speedway right there in the Highlands.
Oh, you talking about on I know what you're talking about Broadway. And,
so I was right there. I lived right there during all of this stuff. So
oh, really? So you probably saw us doing the Rumble in the Jungle that day.
Oh,
yeah, that was the day.
They were all coming through the street. We'd sit up on the roof and watch it. Like, it was.
Yeah, that was.
So like that was
I almost blew
a
guy's head off that day.
Oh my God.
Almost blew a dude's head off,
telling
man.
Right now, like getting off a bus. You were getting off a bus.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that one of those could have been you. Like, and one of those officers could have not made it. Like, it could have not made it home. And, nobody was looking at that you guys are real people. You're human beings.
No,
and you're out there to protect and serve.
Yeah. But like I said, go ahead, brother.
No, what I was going to say is all they see is the uniform that you were wearing. It's kind of like when we were, the Vietnam soldiers that came back from Vietnam. All they saw was the uniform they were wearing. And then with you guys being a police officer, all they saw was the uniform that you were wearing. They didn't care the color of your skin. They didn't care what your family dynamic was. All they saw was that uniform that you guys were wearing, and they had it out for the uniform. And then, like you said, here they are calling you every name underneath the book, and you're out protecting your community, and you're out protecting them. You're there to help them, and they don't see that. They it's crazy.
Well, the worst part is, like I said, I was hurt because so many people that knew me were treating me like I was this horrible person. And here's the crazy part now, we're 4 years post all this craziness. I am running into people now who used to be my friends. I have a video, man. I have to show it to you, but there's a guy, we're on Bardstown Road, right by what I'm saying, Candace, right by where you were at. And this guy's like, fuck you, Pitts, fuck you. And he's just yelling at me, fuck you, over and over. And I knew this dude, and he was wearing a mask, and I knew his voice. And I knew, and he lifted his mask up for a second. I used to work with this dude at the club. He was a security officer, wanted to be a cop, could never get hired. Now all of a sudden, man, he's out here yelling at me, cursing at me after all these we never had a bad encounter. We'd always dap each other up and be cool. And so I ran into him about 2 years ago when I was working in the first division, and I got a call to a tow lot, and I guess he was a tow truck driver at this lot. And I walk up, I'm like, oh, what's up, man? And I've been dying to meet these people one-on-one. And they acted like, oh, what's up, man? I was like, hey, bro, what was up with all that a couple years ago on Bardstown Road, man? What did I do to you personally? Mm-hmm. Oh, man, it is what everybody do, man. It was just a wild time, man. 2020 was just wild, bro. Literally everybody I met that I knew that did that to me. Nobody's got anything to say, man. And I'm like, you know what? That reveals your character more than reveals my character, because I never changed. Never said anything bad about y'all, but y'all revealed to me who you were. The snakes that you are, bro. And it was just so crazy. I mean, people from my church, I run into them like, what's up? There's one I still run into her currently now. She posted so much crap about me on Facebook. She's actually on the LMPD Civilian Review Board. When I came back to Louisville, personally? Oh yeah, personally. There's a post she made about me. Like it was right during the first protest at the 2nd Street Bridge, and there's a picture of me putting on my gloves, yo, and like talking with people, yo, and then she's just like, "Oh, Dexter," she's like shaking my head, and I was like, "Hey, can we chat about this?" She gave me her number. I would call, she wouldn't pick up, would never pick up, and then and
this is a woman that you were sitting in church with.
Yes,
praising God,
prayed with, everything, yo, and now she's in the area I work now. My partner stopped her, and now every time I see her, she thinks we're just best friends, and I'm just in the back of my mind, I'm gonna lose my religion. I'm like, bitch, I'm like, get out of here.
Like, I know who you really are.
Yeah,
but it's interesting. You say 4 years post, but honestly, like, are we post? Because between the pandemic and all of that, like, society's changed.
Yeah, it really has.
It's not going back anytime soon.
No.
I don't think. Like, people have.
He was talking about, with the Breonna Taylor stuff, that's still going on. Like the court cases are still going on. And here's what I think. There's a lot of media coverage that's still that's playing with that. And I know one of the officers that was involved. I'm not going to say which officer, but I know him personally, like outside of him being a police officer.
You about the Breonna Taylor case?
Yeah, the Breonna Taylor case.
Yeah.
And one of the officers lives out here in Bullitt County, and he's you probably do.
Oh yeah.
And there's still a lot going on. So here's what I'm afraid of. So there's still a court case going on. If by chance, when they retry this case, whether it be federal charges or local charges up in Louisville, and the verdict doesn't come down the right way, you guys as officers are going to have to pick up and protect the community once again. And you guys are going to be, your head on a swivel 24/7 because you don't know what's going to happen. And that's what I'm afraid of. And then you brought up a point, about the whole Black Lives Matter. Everybody says, "Oh, that's a great organization because they really care about Black lives." No, they don't. When when Black Lives originally was formed, it was formed by Marxists, and all they cared about was creating separation between white people and Black people. And the good thing
destroying the nuclear family.
And destroying the nuclear family, you are correct. And with us being in the military, I see color. I see that you're a Black male, but when we're wearing the same fighting hoe, you're my brother. Right or left of me, it doesn't matter. And
politics don't matter.
Yeah, and my buddy Ty, who's with Triple Threats, he'll tell you have to see color because you got to celebrate the heritage and the culture behind that color. But that's the only thing I see. I don't see that you're any different than I am, and that's the way I teach my kids. My kids are the same way. They don't see, they see color for who you are. And that's it. They're going to celebrate your heritage. They're going to celebrate your culture. And that's the way that, I wasn't raised that way when I was growing up. I was raised completely different, when I was growing up. And Al just says right here, not by the color of your skin, but by the content of your character. Yep. There we go.
I'm not reading like we are going backwards as a society and trying to resegregate. And then now it's
Yeah.
getting worse with the migrant crisis because I feel like Black people are kind of waking up to everything going on, man. And they're like, with the migrants coming in and newcomers, hey, get out of that bull crap. But man, I feel like they're bringing in a new voter base and new people, and Black people are kind of looking like, well, what about us? We've been here this whole time. We ain't got no free stuff. All of a sudden they're getting free housing, all this crap, And so now I think people are starting to wake up that it's not about color, man. It's about, like I said, character, but it's more so about us as Americans, dude. United we stand, divided we fall. It's that simple. And the people in power want to keep us divided because their biggest fear is you and I with combat experience. Like,
yeah.
Why are we letting them divide us, man? And it drives me like, so last night working at the bar, so crazy. My partner stops this girl and I walk up to the car as his backup and he gives them ID and they're like, oh, we're from Indiana. I'm like, where y'all from in Indiana? Sellersburg, Charlestown. Oh, I was like, man, that's where I'm at. They were like, I was like, I love it over there. She was like, why? I'm like, it's a great community. I'm like, why wouldn't I love it? I can't believe you're saying that as a Black man. And I wanted to be like, bitch, I've been here 3 years and nobody burned a cross in my yard. like I can't live in a certain dude, my neighbors are phenomenal. I don't have any problems here. No problem. But her perception as a young white lady, like how could a Black man live there? I've not. Now, you know where I've had problems? In the hood. I ain't gonna lie. That's where I've had problems there. But out here, all we care about, don't mess with my property taxes, and keep the music down, bro. Other than that, everybody here minds their business. But her perception is still
great, Dexter.
What's that?
And your yard looks great.
It's all right. I need to cut it, man. It's the peer pressure zone this week. I got to get it done tomorrow.
Dude,
you better make that neighbor proud.
Yeah, I got to mow my grass too. But so Al says right here, he says facts. The media and far left want social segregation. That is so true. And mainstream media is something that I had a big falling out with a long time ago because you got a predominantly Black neighborhood, right? And if you look back generations, however many generations, 3, 4, 5 generations, right? And they want to say that it's an African-American community. Now, granted, I know that's what they call Black people as African-Americans. But if you look, how many generations back did your family come from Africa, or did they even come from Africa? So why not call it a predominantly wild Black community? That's one thing that always, unless they're straight off the boat, and they live in the neighborhood. Yeah.
I know Africans. We are not the same.
Yeah, you're not the same.
We are not the same.
Not the same.
And they want to keep us separated. And the reason they do that is because they know that, like you just said, we're stronger together than we are separate. And if the government, the people, the powers to be, wants to keep us, on the down low and keep us separated, and we're not going to be as strong. Well, what they don't realize is us as veterans and us as police officers out there, we're going to pick up the slack and we're going to fix the problems if needed when arise. And I'm going to tell you, I honestly think that we're on the verge of a civil war, if not a world war.
Something, bro, it's coming.
Something is brewing. I don't know what it is. Something is brewing. And I think eventually it's going to probably be a civil war, which will turn into a world war, if you want my honest opinion.
Well, and with this one, you look at 2020 and who was to blame? It was the officers. So with this up and coming with our newcomers and things of that sort, who's to blame? Who's going to get blamed? And like you said, you look at the Black community that's going to be like, well, hold up. We're not getting anything, and you're bringing in these new people because you want their support. So who's going to get the blame and who's going to turn on who? It's everything is, no pun intended, but is being pitted against each other in so many different ways. And I'm sorry, and this is probably going to be the most racist thing I ever say, but I just looked over and look, skin tone, everything. Look at that damn lip on that picture. Is that not bubba gum? Is that not bubba gum? one of your pictures on one of your sites. It's like lighting and everything, and it's a side view. And he's got to show
Let me tell you all about
shrimp.
shrimp. There's all types of shrimp.
Look at Bubba right there. Look at Bubba. Look at that lip.
It does. Now that you mention it.
What's your favorite shrimp, Dexter?
What's that?
What's your favorite shrimp?
Oh, you mean shrimp? That's fried shrimp. Fried shrimp.
Okay, sorry. I just looked over and I'm like, I'm looking at Bubba. Come over here.
So in typical HomeFront fashion, Candace, you're fired.
Every episode. I get fired every episode.
But see, man, this is how people should interact. Like America, like we should be able to come together. That's how I was in the military, dude. Like
it made me want to watch.
We laugh and joke, bro. It's a joke.
And
everybody's so serious. I'm telling you, like everybody needs to like grab their favorite drink. You know, hey, grab a joint. I don't care. And then we need to put on like televised across the nation, Blazing Saddles, and syndicated at the same time. Everybody have a drink and smoke whatever, and just laugh, man. Laugh, America. My God, why does everything have to be so damn serious? I can't take it, man.
Do you kind of have a similar like viewpoint on like what is it? Morgan Freeman says it. It's like racism is a problem because we keep talking about it, or like where does your views lie on that? What is the problem? What's the separation? What's the mindset that's causing such an issue there?
Honestly, I think it's intellectually lazy people. It's so easy it's ignorance, man. It's so easy for people to just look at all black people and say they're all like this. I'm done. And it's so easy for white people to look at white people and say, well, they're all racist and just kind of walk away. But when you have to take the time to individually talk to a person, and people in my book, I tell them, put your phone down, go outside and talk to people. And you will see that we all have so much more in common that divides us. Literally, I mean, who doesn't want more money in their check and have to be taxed so much? Everybody, liberals and them, everybody want more money. But who wants their kids to grow up in a bad crime-ridden neighborhood? Nobody. Who wants to be able to go to sleep and leave their door unlocked and wake up and all their stuff's still there? Everybody wants that. But for some odd reason, we keep getting caught up on this color thing, bro. And I'm just like, it is the stupidest thing that we are still having this. You know, I mean, still having this conversation and saying fights that we fought already, and we're still doing it. And the thing is, the people that are fighting these battles now haven't even experienced a lot of this racism that they say that they're experiencing. I tell people, my parents knew real racism. Man. My grandparents knew real racism. My grandma hated white people on my mama's side, and she grew up in Mississippi, 1920s and 30s. I could understand that, but me, I'm not gonna say I've never had an encounter with a Klansman. I know I've met some in the past, but I've never had anybody chase me down and like, nigga, we're gonna kill you. I've had people call me the N-word at work, and I don't care. Because I'm like, bro, you're sleeping in a gutter and you're homeless. Like, you're really showing your superiority to me. But man, I think, like I said, it's just people are intellectually lazy, man. And people are looking for a reason to be offended. Because I used to do this. I used to look for justifications for my rage and for my anger. I needed someone to blame because it was too hard to look myself in the mirror and say, Dexter, you're stupid. This is all your fault. You're lazy and you made a bad decision. But when you have the magical white boogeyman to always cast your problems on, it gets so easy to just be like, well, I'm not stupid. It's just racism. I don't have a chance. And the truth is, there's never been a better time to be in America as a person of color, period. It's just never, it's just like, we're not a perfect country, but my God, have you seen some of these other places, man? I tell people, bro, they still have ongoing slavery in Africa. They're selling Negroes on the blocks still in Africa. In Chad and Sudan, bro, and I'm just like, why are we still fighting over such things? Like powers that be want us fighting over something so minute, so that we don't get the hint that y'all are taking all our money. You know, y'all are doing us wrong. Y'all supposed to be serving us. You're supposed to be our representatives, but you're not. You know, and so, man, like I said, it's just, and plus, just like you said, media and social media. I think it's a FOMO, the fear of missing out, man. People want to be a part of a struggle so bad, a struggle that they don't even know anything about. They just want to, like 2020, I would tell all these protesters, I would sit there and tell them, this is going to be the most relevant you'll ever be in your life. And after this, you're going to be nobody again. And guess what? Guess where we are 4 years later? Don't nobody remember none of these people, man.
Nope.
But you know who they still remember? The cops that were out there. They still remember me coming to their house during 2020. They still remember me doing everything I did during 2020. But they don't remember Motor City's people, man. These people were looking. They just wanted to be cool and popular. And it was the biggest trend to hate the police. It was just a trend.
Yeah.
So you think it was like their 10 minutes of fame type thing? Like
that's all it was. That's all it was. All the Maxwell Mitchells and all these people, Shamika Parrish Wrights and all these people. But these are grifters, man. These are people
the damage that caused for such a small, insignificant, caused very significant trauma and events in another human's lives, and many of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, so many officers have PTSD now, man. So go ahead and pop that back up.
I'm gonna read this. Here's what people don't understand. But when we're downrange, we don't give a shit about the flag, politics, Republicans, Democrats, black, white, none of that shit. We only care about the brother or sister to the right or left of us. We will actually lay our lives down for each other. It's a love that can't be described or explained. The problem is while we're downrange, shit is simple. We know who the enemy is, but then when we come home and the enemy looks like us, they want us to kill, and then I'm assuming he's going to write some more stuff on there.
Well, but that literally that's it. That's literally it.
Just that you come home.
It's so simple, man. It's so simple. But
well,
like
it's not that they look like us. You don't know what they look like.
Yeah.
Who is the enemy? You don't know.
Yeah,
because you can sit in church with them and not realize that that's going to be the enemy.
But the thing is, there's no American is an enemy, and that's the thing. Like when I was during 2020. I was like, these aren't the enemy. These are my fellow citizens that want to kill me. Like, these aren't the enemy, but I mean, what are we supposed to do? Well, I can't have to disagree with that because I can't call as a police officer in uniform serving the Constitution. Okay. I can't call an American citizen an enemy.
Right.
I might call him a suspect, but I might call them a threat to me, to my physical health, but I can't call him an enemy. But I can almost call a politician an enemy because they're not serving the Constitution and they're trying to tear apart the Constitution. And anybody that's trying to dismantle this country and tear apart the Constitution, man, that's an enemy to me. But an American citizen, it's hard for me to call an American citizen an enemy because somebody has a different ideological, political belief than me. It's hard for me to accept that. They might want to kill me. I just can't do that, man. And I can understand why people want to, because it's in layman's term, it's a simple, that's the enemy, the bad guys,
Yeah, definitely. And being military, being in the military like I was, and then you being a police officer, you military then police officer. I don't see any American out there. I don't care white, brown, purple, blue, whatever color. And I don't care if you're a Christian, if you're Catholic, if you're a Buddha. I don't care. But here's what: when you are attacking my country, the one that I swore an oath to defend for the rest of my life till the day I die, if you're attacking my country, to me, you're my enemy. And if that's a politician, if it's clergy, I don't care who you are, but if you're sitting there and you're attacking my country and trying to take away my God-given constitutional rights that was founded with our forefathers way back when, the right to bear arms, the right to free speech and stuff like this. And those are the ones that I consider my enemies.
Absolutely.
And, my thing that I hate a lot, there's a lot of videos out there like cop watchers, these people that watches cops and auditors and stuff like that only show one side of the story. They don't show the whole side of the story. And, a lot of times cops are painted in a bad picture because when you first go up to a car and you're, investigating whatever, a traffic stop or whatever, and you're talking with people normal and they're giving you all kinds of attitude right up front and, not being cooperative and being disruptive. And then they're like, oh, let me turn my phone on and start recording. That's what people see. they see that portion, and then it paints a bad light on, police officers. And it's just like, bro, you don't know the whole story. So you're only getting a tenth of the story.
A lot of that's perspective too.
Yeah.
Like perspective plays such an important
perspective
role.
is very important. There's a comment here that says your enemy is a non-believer. You know what's even more dangerous than a non-believer?
That's my mom.
It's somebody who doesn't know what they believe.
Yeah.
I mean, people, and honestly, I think most of the people that got caught up in 2020, they were absolutely just idiots and got taken, man. I mean, it was kind of, remember the day after 9/11, how it swept the country. Everybody was a patriot. We're Americans. Like we're all one. We're all Americans, unless you're Arab. But at one time, unless you're Muslim at that time, we forget about that part. But it was just, that's how 2020 was, but in reverse for people against the police. And I think a lot of people got swept up in the emotion, weren't thinking. I mean, because if you use common sense would be like, man, not all these guys are bad. I understand that some do dumb things, but not all of them are bad. But people didn't know, people had no belief system. And then when you get on social media,
pandemic, and
I mean, it was the worst time ever.
Their minds.
People were going, and then it's a political cycle, the presidential race going on. But I mean, it was just the perfect storm for 2020, man. It really was. Just
so my wife asked a question. She said traffic stops are the most dangerous for officers, correct?
I mean, I feel like everything we do in this job is dangerous now, yo. I mean, anytime you put on this uniform now, it's dangerous, yo. Because I've now lost, how many officers do I shot and killed funerals that I've been to from Louisville Metro? 0. Cops have been hit by cars on the interstate. 3. I mean, that's it's just crazy. Anything we do in this job now, and that's, I lost a officer. Jesus, man, I just had a brain fart. Nick Rodman in 2016. He got killed in a car. My partner Dee Dee, she was killed on Christmas Eve, 2019. And then then my buddy Zach Cottongan, who died December of 2022, man. And I had just made a run with this guy. We literally just locked the guy up. He sent me his information. He's like, hey man, I'm gonna go handle this call up on the interstate. All right, bro. Drives off, and that's the last time I see him alive, man.
Well, and you look at the carelessness, like look at Officer Wilt, like this young kid. He's a kid.
Kid,
that's all I could ever see with him. I was like, that's a kid
on the job, man. Tweak on the job. Dee Dee was a good human, man. I was her first partner, actually.
I was like, you said that. And I was like, wait, hold on.
When she got on the streets, man, I was her first partner, dude. She was feisty, man.
Al Hero says the citizens aren't the enemy. The enemy is the politics, the media, woke culture who want to divide us and eliminate the Christian values we were founded on. The ones who want to eliminate the Constitution and the ones who disregard values.
Yes.
Now, I agree with you 100%.
I'm with that. I'm with that.
You hit that right on the head, my friend. And, it's just, unfortunately, this society, like I said, I think we're going to hell in a handbasket, and people, are trying to keep us all separated. And, whether you're black, white, Mexican, Japanese, and you kind of said something just a few minutes ago, about after 9/11, everybody was against Arabs. Well, we had the Go for Broke Foundation, or Go for Broke National Education Center, which is talking about Japanese American soldiers during World War II. And right after, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, what happened when that, right after Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, we started putting
concentration camps
in camps. And, it's just like, holy cow, man. And, they didn't do that when 9/11 happened. They didn't,
no.
They did to
progress.
a certain, they did to a certain extent, but they learned from their mistake. Americans learned from the mistake of what happened back then. But, still the mindset of the American people is all Arabs, all Muslims are bad.
Well, I almost want to say, like, because in my mind, like that day, like it wasn't even after, it wasn't like the Arabs are bad or something like that. But I'm going to tell you, like, the greatest day I think, like in my life and in American history, was September 12th.
Yeah, that was the greatest.
Everybody was united.
It was, man, bro. It
no
was.
matter race, religion, like nothing mattered. It was this giant country of unity.
Mm-hmm.
And
we were
if
going
we
to
could
kill
have
people.
another September 12th,
Without this September 11th,
the world would
great,
be
man.
okay. Right.
Yeah.
But
right.
you know
Well,
what's weird? But
this is almost a very elongated September 11th right now, but it's internal.
But
it's all
you
internal.
know, it's crazy how like I remember as a young soldier and as a young man in this country going through 9/11 and seeing that, okay, we were attacked by Muslims. And then here's what people don't realize. Like when you get into the military, you are being programmed to kill people, like literally. And then I just remember the cadences. Up jumps an Iraqi. I got him with my knife. We just say everybody's, I can't wait to go kill a fucking Iraqi. I can't wait to stab it. Can't wait to stab a Muslim. I mean, I was salivating, man. I was a machine gunner. I was just salivating for a firefight because I thought everybody with brown skin that looked like that. And I tell people, when you're that young and dumb and gullible, you can't think for yourself and think, well, maybe not all these people are bad. I didn't know better. I just knew what my drill sergeants told me, and I just knew that I'm going to go kill them. And to me, they were all bad. I didn't see them as people. And so when I got to Iraq, this is actually a story in my book. When I got to Iraq, they put me on duty where I had to ride around with a septic truck. And I didn't know that they had Iraqis from out in Baghdad that came on base and worked on base. So they was like, hey, Pitts, you're riding with this guy, Fockley. And so I'm like, well, I got to ride in there with this truck with this dude and watch him. So I get in my truck with him. And I don't sit in the seat with my back to the seat. I sit with my back to the door with my rifle in my hand, and I'm giving this dude the death stare the entire time because in my mind, this dude's going to try to kill me if I blink too long. But because I'm 19 years old, 20 years old, thinking like, man, this is the enemy. Like, why am I having to guard this guy? And so I'm terrified sitting there. And this guy's trying to spark up a conversation with me. What's wrong, my friend? Why so angry? And I'm just like, don't talk to me, bro. Like, you're not going to kill me. I'm going to kill you. Because I didn't know that this guy was just a guy. And I'm like, man, and I'm sitting there thinking like, he's trying to like get my guard down. And the moment I get my guard down, like he's going to try to kidnap me. And I thought, did you ever go to Camp Victory at all? So no. So man, Camp Victory in Baghdad was huge. I didn't realize it was a bunch of bases all together. So we're riding around and I'm thinking that this man's about to kidnap me because we go off one base. And I'm thinking we're going out into the city, but we're going into BIOP, and BIOP is giant and it's still within the base. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy's trying to kidnap me. So I'm like, man, I lock and load and I'm getting ready to point my gun at this dude. Like, where the fuck you taking me, bro? And I'm terrified. He's like, no, my friend, we just go to your other base. And I'm sitting there and I'm amped up. And this guy starts talking to me. Then he starts showing me pictures of his family. And then he just starts, and I'm just like, man, am I being crazy here? Maybe I'm being too much. Then I started to see this dude as an actual human being. And the next thing you know, like common sense comes around and I'm like, this guy just a guy. Maybe he wasn't a surgeon. I don't know. But I just saw him as a dad trying to take care of his kids. He had his pictures of his family in there, man. Wish I could grab my photo album. Actually, matter of fact, I'm gonna grab my photo album real quick.
All right, go ahead.
Hold up.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna pay the bills. Well, I was going to pay the bills.
He can't hear you. He took his headphones off.
But anyway, let's pay the bills real quick while we're waiting here. Hey, Dexter, I'm gonna pay the bills real quick. Go
ahead, brother. Pay the bills, man.
Right.
Pay the bills.
So if you're in the music business out there, check out talenttowns.com or Louisville Local Entertainment. Rick and Chris are amazing people. They do things for free. They don't charge you. So if you're a band, venue, promoter, reach out to talenttowns.com or Louisville Local Entertainment. If you're in the shirt business and you didn't wear your shirt today,
because we already showed it. You didn't wear yours either.
I know I didn't. If you're looking for a shirt, there's a veteran-owned company in Texas called Got Your Six Culture, sameflagsameoath.com. They are amazing. The shirt quality is really, really amazing, very comfortable. And then you're gonna, if you're in the market for a mortgage for a home, check out Veteran Mortgage Solutions.
Owner of Talents here. And I just want to say that we are ecstatic to be a major sponsor of HomeFront Sitrep, a community that is ran by veterans and made for veterans. So thank you for tuning in. Talents was formed in order to create a music scene that was together in the form of a collective, so that no one has to do everything on their own. And guess what? We've been doing this for free for over a year. So please go and check out Talents through Facebook or through our official website at www.talenttalents.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you again for tuning in to HomeFront Sitrep, a veteran-owned and operated podcast just for you.
My name's Rick Ames. I own Louisville Local Entertainment, a company for music shows, promotions, and bookings in the Louisville music scene. As a veteran, it's my honor to support and sponsor local veteran-owned businesses such as HomeFront Sitrep, made by veterans for veterans. So if you're in the music business and need some help booking or promoting a show for free, look me up. Louisville Local Entertainment. And thanks for tuning in to HomeFront Sitrep.
Gear up in style wearing Got Your Six apparel. Every purchase makes a difference. It's more than just clothing, it's a statement of gratitude. Upgrade without breaking the bank. Discover cost-effective, high-quality clothing made in the USA. Each shirt is handcrafted by our team in the great state of Texas and shipped for free to your front door. Got Your Six is where quality meets purpose. We're a small veteran-owned business that takes pride in the mission and the value of our products. Join us in growing a community, supporting our heroes, veterans, and first responders by wearing a custom design.
I thought you'd never ask.
Visit sameflagsameoath.com and use the code TRIPLETHREAT for 10% off. Follow us on all social media platforms for any upcoming releases or events, and you can reach out to us with questions anytime. We are here to support our brothers and sisters.
Hey guys, Mac Verdi here with Veteran Mortgage Solutions. As rates are dropping, home values are going to start to go up. It's time to start looking if you're looking to purchase a home. That being said, we are an all-military veteran loan officer team. We know the ins and outs of the VA home loan. We are considered the experts in this field. Give us a call today. Go to our website, veteranmortgagesolutions.com. Fill out my quick form. I'll give you $500 off towards closing costs. Have a great day.
And we are back. All right, let's see these pictures you got for us, sir.
Man, so as I was telling y'all back when I was in Iraq and I was a young man, how much I hated Iraqis because I did not see them as people. They were simply the enemy. And I got sent on a detail to guard this guy right here. His name is Falkley.
Okay.
And I rode with Falkley for an entire day. And in the back of my mind, I thought Falkley was going to try to kill me because he's an Iraqi. We invaded their country. We're at war. Me, a 19-year-old infantry soldier who all I want to do is kill and drink the blood of my enemies. That's all I wanted to do. And now that I'm about 40 years old, I'm ashamed of how I felt towards this man because I didn't know better. I was ignorant. I was young.
Yeah.
I was at war. And I told myself I was going to kill this man before the day was over. And the next thing you know, me and him actually become kind of friends that day. I talked to him about my family, told me of his family, and by the time the day was over, man, it ended with a hug, and I lived. And in the back of my mind, common sense was like, maybe all these people aren't bad, Dexter. But how come I think all these people are bad? Because as a young soldier in the infantry, you're programmed, and by the media, you're programmed that all these people that look like this are going to kill you. If you blink too long, they're going to kill you. And
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like
And he lived that day too.
he lived that day, bro. And I don't know what now. I hope the man survived. I hope he's doing well and has a family. Who knows? But man, I kind of feel like that's where we're at America right now, yo. Like we're not looking at each other as brothers and sisters and as fellow Americans. Like we're breaking each other down to the simplest parts of us, our skin color, dude. And like I said, it breaks my heart, man. And just seeing people, if people just take the time to talk to your fellow Americans, dude, I'm telling you, your perspective would be changed.
Yeah.
Now, are there places in this country that black people can't go? Of course there are. There's always going to be a small, ignorant amount to our country and our population as humans. There's subhumans, man, but that is not the average everyday American. I can't tell you how many places I've gone in this country where I strike up a conversation with somebody that has white skin. And dude, I serve with white people every day at church, Hispanic people, Asian people, and I tell people, yeah, it's not about the color of somebody, man. It's their character. Are you a jerk or not? That's it. Literally, are you an asshole?
Yeah.
I don't want to. And they come in many different flavors, brother, in many different cultures, man. We know them all. Nobody wants to be around them.
No,
Like
your
I said,
heart and your mind. Like that's what really matters is your heart and your mind. Those things don't change. Everything else changes. When we rot, our skin falls off. We're all skeletons. It's
all of it, man.
And I always say, you came out of the same kind of hole I did. You're going in the same kind of hole I am. Like it's we're all just people.
Yeah, and a lot of people, like Al says here, when we're in the military, we're trained to be efficient, effective machines that can kill effortlessly. After I got home, I was angry and bitter, but now I understand that we weren't all that different, and that's true. And regardless of skin color, whether you're white, black, brown, yellow, it doesn't matter. We're all humans, and we're all trying to make a better life for our family. And the mainstream media, like I said, I'll say this till the day I die, that mainstream media wants to keep us separated. The government wants to keep us separated.
Absolutely.
And that's why you look at different things out there. When it comes to reparations and stuff like that, the way they do things, and it seems like it's always systematic. When
every 4 years, man.
Yeah, it's like systematic. They do this, and they're like, and it pits white people against black people, and then it puts black people against white people, and then you throw in the Asians in there, and then you throw the Mexicans in there, and it's just like
now you got newcomers,
and then you got newcomers coming in, and it's just like the whole border, down and being a border patrol agent. Let's go here. We're the only country that will allow non-citizens to come in the country illegally. And what I mean by that, because if you go to Iraq, if you go to Iran, you go to Haiti, and you come in the country illegally, they fucking kill you.
They will kill you.
They will
dead.
Kill you. Yeah, and and people are like, "Oh, well, Americans are so mean; they won't let the." No, we're not. There are. Yeah, we're soft when it comes to that. And it's just like, holy shit. Even Canada, if you try to cross the border in Canada, they won't kill you, but they still deport you back to the U.S. or they deport you to back wherever. And it's just like, bro, what the?
Today.
There was a video that came out yesterday in El Paso where the migrants flooded the National Guard, started pushing them and shoving them, and forced their way past the barbed wire, bro. Diving, and I was just like, only in America can you do this to soldiers, man, and get away with your life, dude. Only in America, man.
But looking at America right now, why in the hell does anybody want to come here? What are you pushing through barbed wire to get here for?
Well, here's what I'm going to say to that. There was a video that circulated a while back. It was a young student that was asking, it might even been in the movie, why is America great? And I will tell you, we as Americans, okay, we see America for what it is now. But I can tell you right now, if you go to Haiti and see how they're living in Haiti, if you go to Mexico and see how they're living in Mexico.
Right. Sorry. Thank you, Al.
Americans have this sense of entitlement that other countries don't have. Yes, we used to be the greatest country on earth. And we still are to a certain extent, But as Americans, we're too entitled because we think everything should be given to us. No, you go to Haiti, go to freaking Iraq, go to Afghanistan, go to Chad, go to Tunisia, and see how those people are living.
Yeah.
And people would they don't even understand. Because Dexter can tell you, Al can tell you, I can tell you, Rich LaMonica, all of us who have served in the military and been to these other countries can tell you that America is the land of the free and the home of the brave.
But is there nowhere else like that? Because like around the world is looking at what we are right now, and like we're a laughing stock. Really, because
there are countries. If you go to England, if you go to other countries, they are very similar to America, but even still, there's still a lot.
I thought there was a lot of racism over in England.
There is.
No, it's all over the globe,
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, maybe I had hope that it wasn't somewhere. Like there's somewhere that it's not there, right? Like,
but where you find people, you're going to find problems. But this is how this is how the best way to describe America. Imagine that you are born into a family that is mega wealthy, like generationally wealthy. When you grow up, you're going to be growing up riding in Bentleys, 5-star meals every night, mansions, everything you want is at your fingertips, yo. That's like growing up in America. And so when you grow up with that and you see that every day, that just becomes the norm. And you expect it because you don't have to work for it because it's just there. Right. And guess what? You don't have problems. So you create problems because you have nothing else to do. So you create problems. But this is why when people not from America come here and they are so much more successful when they get here because they realize the American dream and they realize they still have to work because they never had it.
Yep.
They're the poor kid that grew up on the other side of the tracks from us that didn't have all the things we had. So they saw that they could get it and they're getting here and they're going after it and they're getting it. And Americans are falling behind because they're, like you said, entitled, lazy. And I tell people, America will not change as long as we are comfortable as a country. Because as long as we got our Wi-Fi, as long as we got our DoorDash and we got our TikToks and social media, nobody wants to be bothered. We're comfortable. And I tell people, America's been too comfortable too long. And comfort is the enemy. And now we got people so fat they can't join the military, so fat they can't join the police force. People are so fat in I think it's in Nashville. They lowered the PT standards, and now the 51% of people can pass it. I'm like,
no
man,
way.
that's
and that's a problem. Like they're lowering the standards of everything.
Everything in America, the standards have been lowered. And they say, oh, black people can't get ahead in America. They've had it harder.
Bullshit.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, have we had it harder? If you look at it on the scale, yes, we have, but that don't mean.
But you can make it.
You can still make it. My granddaddy made it picking cotton. He made it picking cotton. It's like, bro, this is my
houses cash.
House. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know many white men that can say that I bought
that's
2
what I'm
houses
saying. And
cash.
I'm like,
one. Let alone
everybody here is some odd reason still a victim. And the worst part is people want me to be the victim and people want to be the savior for me. And I tell people there's nothing worse than a liberal white person, bro. I'm telling you, no, it's okay, man. No, listen, you don't know that you're oppressed yet, bro. And I'm just like, bro, I'm not oppressed. I don't need you. And that was the biggest thing, man. So during 2020, we had a large protest downtown on East Market Street. And BLM was out there with the bullhorns, and they were saying, all white people come to the front right now. It's time to atone for your sins. So they took all the white people, they put them out on the street and made them get arrested. And they said, Pitts, go guard this group of people. So I'm sitting there and I'm guarding these group of young, wealthy, entitled white people. I'm guarding them. And they're just sitting there yakking at me and yelling at me. You're a race traitor. You're an Uncle Tom. You sold out your people. Of all the things you could have done with your life, you decided to be a goddamn cop. He's like, you're a horrible human being. And I sat there and I looked at them and I said, I'm black, you're white. You shouldn't be talking to me like that. I was like, I'm oppressed. You're not supposed to be talking to me like that. And they lost their minds. Oh, that's bullshit. That doesn't count. I'm like, no. That's the whole reason you're out here. Because I use their psychology against them, and they didn't know how to take it. But I
That
was just sitting there
doesn't
like,
count.
it
Like,
didn't
we just
count.
turn into children? Like, it
Literally,
doesn't count.
that's
You're on
literally
that
all they
side.
are.
It doesn't count.
They're young, they're dumb people. And the whole time, man, and we're starting to see now, like I said, it's been 4 years. All during 2020, all we heard was, you're on the wrong side of history, black man. You're on the wrong side of history, black officer. You're on the wrong side of history. Well, I think history is showing that the police were on the right side of history this whole time. Because as you look at our cities now, bro, America looks like a third world country, man. You see these major cities, I mean, San Francisco, I mean, hell, just go downtown Louisville.
Yeah.
Oh my God, people shitting on the street. I mean, it's just horrible.
Yeah.
And look where we are. Are we a better country now than we were 4 years ago?
No.
Hell no.
No.
And there's delusional people that support Biden to, oh, America's great right now. I'm like, bro, like, stop. You're lying to yourself right now.
You know, so I do have another question for you. You were talking about when all that stuff started in 2020, how LMPD was like, they were blowing up from the inside out, right? So do you think that those events, the events in the streets, the event, like everything throughout the whole city, did that bring those officers back together, or do you kind of attribute that to Chief Jackie?
No, that did not bring that place has not been the same since. And as a matter of fact, there's actually 2 officers, that article that just got posted, that are suing the department for racism. So 2 officers, I know them very well, bro, very well, great guys. But one of them's a little far out there, but he's a good dude. He's a black guy, but he's just converted to Islam. I guess he's just recently become an Islam. So he's
but
no
he
longer
realizes that the chief is a black woman.
Yeah,
like,
and I tell people, yeah, she's a black woman, but it didn't mean nothing to me, because I'm like, I don't care what you are. I don't care if you're a woman or can you lead? And she has not proven that. No, none of our past police chiefs in the last few years have proven that they can lead, because we're not looking for a black leader. We're looking for a leader. We just need a leader, someone to lead us. And the problem is, she's not wanting to lead. She's wanting to cave to woke culture, yo. So everything now in LMPD is, we need more black people here. We need more black people in command. I'm like, how about we just get the best qualified person into the position that can lead?
Yeah.
And that's all we need. And everything else will follow.
Yeah.
And I tell people, it drives me crazy, man. Like, I will follow you into a machine gun nest if you were a good leader. Bro, but a sheep cannot lead a herd of lions, a pride of lions, bro. It don't work like that.
So you don't think that that's even been rectified? Like, LMPD is still
absolutely not. That's why they're still shelling money out to people to join this police department. They just had, I think it was like 16 in the last academy. They're already down, I think, to like 12. But there's nobody wants to be there. The only reason people are staying is for money. Money will get you in the door, but money ain't gonna keep you there. And we're seeing it now, man. People are still leaving. Nobody wants to be there.
Well, it's kind of like military now. Like, people aren't joining because of their patriotism. It's because they can get free college.
What's in it for me?
Right.
Yeah. And that goes back to the whole entitlement thing is, you know, everybody in America thinks they're entitled to something. And, you know, whether you're black or white, Asian, American, whatever, or not American, but you know, whatever your ethnicity is, everybody thinks they're entitled. And you know, my oldest daughter, she's 17, and she's been working since right before she turned 16. And I tell my kids, hey, you got to work for what you want in this life. And that's with anybody. If you're in America, you have to work, and you have to put in the effort to make this life what you want it to be. And that's like the wife and I mean, we both work. The wife has a job, I have a job, and we struggle. You know, I mean, I make good money, she makes good money, but we still struggle. But we make sure that our kids don't want or need for anything, but yet they're not to the point where everything is given to them. Like, I remember when I grew up, I bought my first car. Like I said, I lived in a house where it was just my mom. And when I turned 15, I bought a car. Turned 16, got my driver's license, and I bought every car since then. And I just recently got a brand new vehicle, but I've worked 20 plus years to be able to afford a brand new vehicle.
But your wife doesn't always let you have everything you want either.
No, because I have to work for it, and
That's how it should be.
That's what makes America great. When you have like your grandfather who worked, on a cotton farm for however many years he worked on a cotton farm to support his family, to buy 3 or 2 houses with cash. That is what makes America great. When you're out there, you're busting your ass for what you get and what you have in life. And my thing is like, one thing I hate is a thief. Here I am.
Oh boy! Don't get me started, boy.
I bust my ass day in, day out to have what I have. And if you come to my house and you steal from me, dude, that is the worst.
You're stealing my hard work, man. You're stealing my hard work, bro. That I can't stand a thief. When you can have the same thing because you're just as capable as me of doing it, man. I tell people, I'm 100% disabled. I got my 100% from the VA in 2022, I believe. Permanent total, man. I tell people, I get a check, but I was like, man, jacked up, and people look at the money. I'm like, they don't see what comes with the money, the nightmares, and
right.
Bro, I mean, aches and pains. We're going to have my 4th knee surgery here in a couple of weeks, bro. But man, I tell people like, man, why are you still working? I'm like, bro, I believe that we as men and people, just mankind, we have to have a purpose in life. We have to have something to do. And I tell people, some of the most miserable veterans I know are the ones that simply get a check and they get down, check on the first, and they were sitting there waiting for the next 30 days to get it again, because that's all their life is, a check. And I told myself, like, God, I want to be a cop. This is my calling. This is what I want to do. And I don't have my attitude towards policing now, being that I'm 100% disabled and technically retired, is I get to do this job. Not that I have to do this job. And it changes the way I police, and it changes the way I interact with the public, man, because I love what I do. And more than anything, I'm all about leading by example. I don't want my kids growing up and remember what dad do all day besides sit around and play PlayStation and cut the grass once in a while. That's not the example I want from my kids.
Yeah.
And like you said, also, I have a certain sort of life I want to provide for my family. Like we just got back from Gatlinburg a couple weeks ago. We ain't never go to Gatlinburg when I was little, man. We never went anywhere. We went to Mississippi and play in the cotton fields with fireworks, and then we go to Milwaukee to visit my mom's family. That was it. We never went anywhere cool, but I told myself, I was like, man, I want to give my kids experiences I've had, and guess what? Can I do that on a couple grand from the VA over? No, can't do that. And I was like, I want my family to have more, and I want my family to have better, but also as a man and leader in my house, I think it's important that we have to have vision. One Bible verse says, where there's no vision, the people perish. And I knew that if I did not have a vision after I got 100%, that I was going to perish. That's why I continued policing, because people need purpose. Veterans need purpose. Women, when they have a kid and they've been working, and all of a sudden they're not doing that work no more, and all they're waiting hand and foot for this kid, they kind of start to lose their purpose sometimes. And I've seen it with my wife, and I'm like, no, you have purpose beyond being a mom if you want to. But if your purpose is being a mom, I support that 100%. It's whatever you want to do. But man, that's why I don't like the whole communism thing where, the global universal income, where you just get money for existing. It is not enough to exist in this life, bro. We all exist, and none of us are special because you were born with a certain color skin. You're not special because you were born and you had money. None of us are special. It's the things we do in our everyday lives that help improve the lives of people around us that make us special, man. It's that simple. We have to have purpose.
What is the flamingo?
The flamingo.
I know. I was like, what? That's my wife, and I'm trying to track where she's. I'm not tracking where she's going with that.
Explanation, Julie.
Yeah, definitely. No,
that's a dance, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a dance. Yeah. So when I grew up. So the house that I lived in for a really long time was the old farmhouse for the farm that used to be there before they turned it into a little city. Well, I tell people that up until the age of 13, I had to go outside and use an outhouse because we didn't have an indoor bathroom.
Wow.
And I'm 45 years old. And they're like, you had to go outside to use the restroom. I was like, yeah, we didn't have an indoor bathroom. We had a tub, that we had to heat water up on the wood stove and put in the tub. That's how we took a bath. And and a lot of people don't believe me. And I'm like, bro, when I grew up, that's why I'm, kind of the man that I am, and everything I've ever done in my life, I've had to do on my own. And I want my kids to be that way. But like you, I want my kids to see things that I didn't get to see when I was growing up. So yes, they've been on 7 different cruises, and they've been to all these different countries and get to see all these different countries. And, that's something that, I work hard. The wife and we work hard for that. My wife is a banker. That's what she's a banker by trade. And she plans accordingly to put our money and save our money into these different funds. And so we're able to afford that for our kids. And but people in America today, they're just so damn entitled. It's calling to be a police officer.
No, so go up farther. Read up farther.
Okay.
Must be where my blonde hair went.
It did. My hair was blonde, like blonde, until I had my daughter, and then it just went dark.
The color of flamingos change when they become mothers because they give everything to their children.
It's that little demon sucks your soul out.
She did.
And then
No, she's a wonderful little demon.
It's calling to be a police officer and a first responder. Okay.
Yeah.
No, she ain't.
But I'm telling you, man, moms are. Man, I talk about
my
my mom in my book. My mom, she committed suicide. She shot her, and so I was a rookie police officer when I got that call, and I took my mom off of life support in my police uniform. Not even 3 months on the job, yo. So, man, moms are so special, dude. I mean, man, I love my mama so much. I miss her, man. I mean, it's going on 14 years this year, dude, since I had to make that call to take my mom off life support in my uniform. And man, and seeing my wife with my kids, dude, I'm just like, my kids don't know how good they got it because it's so spectacular, man. My wife is so freaking awesome. And the fact that she deals with me and puts up with me. But I always tell her, I'm like, I know you stick around for that VA money and that TRICARE, girl, but it comes at a price now. It comes at a price.
Oh no.
She's spectacular.
That head got way too big, Pitts. Way too big.
I'm right there with you. My mom, has always been a role model of mine. Now, granted,
sorry, because that's gonna get serious. Julie don't even get that. Like Mrs. Willis over here.
She gets it.
He's like, I don't need to go to the VA. Now he is, but like she
Listen.
don't even get a VA check.
She's waiting for me to get that VA check, and then she's going to divorce me.
Look, she said, I'm waiting on that.
Change your life.
No, but
well,
your
if you divorce her, you don't have to give that up in a divorce. So she got to come up with a different game plan.
She's been with this for 10 years.
No,
she's good. Like,
don't work with that the VA.
She
can't get the VA.
She can get my pension, but not my VA.
You can get his pension, but not the VA.
So what?
I've done my research. I've been divorced twice.
I thought
I've been divorced twice.
Spousal, like the spousal thing, stuff for the kids. Like
no.
Spousal support is one thing, but the government cannot garnish your VA check. Like I said, this is my third marriage. I know.
Just like no.
But no, getting back to moms. Moms are very, my mom was a single mother of 4 children. My brother died in 94, and my mom didn't falter. Granted, she's got her flaws, like every human has their flaws. But my mom has always been my role model because when we were growing up, she was working 2 jobs to support us 4 kids. And my dad didn't pay child support. My brother's dad didn't pay child support. My sister's dad didn't pay child support. So it's my mom working 2 jobs, taking care of 4 kids. And then my wife now, Julie, she's an amazing mother when it comes to our kids. Now, granted, she's hey, you got to make sure you have good grades. I'm being careful. You got to have good grades. And we try to teach our children to be good humans. And granted, my daughters push the limits sometimes when it comes to certain things.
Because they got Willis in them.
But that's because they're daddy's kids and they're demon spawns. But but my wife does an amazing job, and my kids don't even realize how easy they have it compared to some families out there. And I try to tell my kids, when they don't want to finish their food, hey, there's a kid down the street that is probably not eating supper tonight, and we try to instill that into them that they know that there are children out there that is less fortunate than they are.
But you still make something special for your princess.
I do. Yeah.
Got to, man.
He's wrapped.
Got
my
to.
mom, this sounds familiar. My mom was a single mom of 5. Like, same thing.
Jesus, man.
Jobs. Like,
See,
I don't know.
See, my grandparents, man, my dad's family they had, I think there was 5 of them, but my mom's family, 19 kids. And that's Mississippi back in the day. Somebody got to work the field and the farms. 19 by 2 different men. Like, man, I still get calls like, your cousin Reese died. I'm like, who?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
19 of us, bro. I don't know who that is.
Oh my.
Well, hell, I remember growing up, and when I started dating somebody, I had to go to mom and say, hey, are we kin to these people? Because there were so many family members that I didn't know everybody. And I was dating this one chick, I ain't gonna mention her name. And mom goes, yeah, that's your 6th cousin. I'm like, my 6th cousin? What the hell kind of
the
shit?
one you were dating?
Hey, this Kentucky, man. Hey, the initials for Bullitt County means better cousin.
County, yeah.
No,
County boy.
I'm a Nelson County.
Wait.
I'm a Nelson County boy, not a Bullitt County boy.
Oh, so that means no cousins.
Yeah.
Your grandmother, so your mom's had 19 kids.
So my mom's mom, my grandma. So
your mother
Jones.
had 18 siblings.
Yes.
Whoa.
18 siblings, man. I can't even name them all.
That's good old family there.
Hey, bro.
How many? You got 18 aunts and uncles. So how many cousins do you have?
Oh my God, dude! I mean, so many.
Mississippi is full of Pitts.
Yo, that was the Jones and Johnson side of the family, but my dad's family, it was all boys, man. There's I think there's 5 of them. So one of my uncles is deceased, but man, my grandmother. You look at her picture, she's part Indian, legit. So my I think it's my great grandfather was full blood Irish, and his wife was a full blood Cherokee.
But that woman could breathe.
Oh, bro, tell me about it. I mean, I'm like 19, man. It's a lot. But the thing is, you could do that back in the day, though, almost, man. Imagine now, man. But you got dudes out here that got 19 kids nowadays, and they just all by different women scattered through all Louisville. Crazy.
So you said by 2 different dads. Now I'm curious, how many with the first one?
I don't know the exact numbers. I just know it's the Jones and the Johnsons.
So maybe I wonder if it was
halfway down my mom was a Jones.
Done with you next. I'm gonna get this one.
my mom was Idella Jones, but when she married my father, it became Idella Pitts. But man, she hated Mississippi, man. My mom, she had a lot of trauma growing up in Mississippi, and it was a lot of stuff. Yo, what up? What up? What's going on, guys? But man, my mom.
Which one is it? Because
that's either Ty or Matt.
I'm say Al just got off,
and it could be Scott Blake too. I don't know. But what up, Triple Threat? But yeah, no, man, I'm excited because we partner, with Triple Threat and Misfit Nation, coming up actually this Wednesday. Matter of fact, on the what is it, the 27th, we got our our tip of the spear that's coming up. I'm super excited about that, and
we need to change that to just the tip. I just want to put that out there.
I choked on
just
that.
the tip podcast, baby.
Yeah. Holy cow. So yeah, we're going to talk about some things that are coming up with veteran suicide and military members committing suicide while they're in. That's one of the topics that we're going to be talking about on that. But I want to get back to your book. If somebody wanted to order your book, where can they go to get your book?
Man, it's so super simple, man. You can go to Amazon and just put I Am Pitts Memoirs of an American Patriots on there. You can go to the website, iampitts.com, and you could just order it from there as well, which will take you to a link to Barnes and Nobles and to Amazon. Also, I tell people, man, I am easily accessible. Man, if you want a signed copy or just want to reach out to me, drop me an email at iampits@yahoo.com, man. Pure, plain and simple. I tell people, man, I don't really make a lot of money from the book anymore. I really don't. So I don't really care about the money. But I tell people, if you want, I'll sell you a copy and I'll sign it and send it to you, man. Or if I tell people, if you buy it on Amazon, I'll work with you. Hey, send me it. I'll sign it and I'll send it back to you. Like I said, it's not about getting rich. What's that?
I want it signed in person.
We can do that. We can do that, man.
Right. Yeah.
I already told him I got to get with him to get a book because I definitely got to have his book up here, and me and him's already talked about that. So yeah, we'll get you a copy too. And but yeah, so you can go to the website. I'm gonna pull up the website since I already have it pulled up here.
Yeah, I'm ready to read this book.
And so I'll tell you, man, about the book, dude. So it pissed me off because I got took, man. I never wrote a book, so I didn't know anything about writing a book. I met this guy that was a former cop, and he's written all these books, and he's written books with the guy that wrote On Combat. I can't never remember his name, and The Psychology of Killing. But he sold me this, and I gave him $5,000 because having a book published it's expensive, and I thought this was a good deal. This dude was going to take care of me. Man, this man, he did the cover for me. Said he was going to do the proofreading and editing and everything for me. Turns out, man, I got the book, and when people started reading it, like, bro, there's so many errors in this book. But the good thing is, I had a New York Times bestselling author read my book and said, bro, for a first-time author, this is a phenomenal read. He's like, story alone is good enough to keep the attention, and you can read past the errors. But I am still pissed off because I trusted this guy. His name's Adam Davis. Wrote a bunch of books. This is my life work, man. My life work. I worked on this book for 7 years. What made me finish this book was 2020 because I said I knew that night we got shot at. My two guys got shot. I said, if I die out here tonight, this story dies with me. And that's why I was like, yo, I gotta finish this book. And I entrusted my 7-year work to this guy, yo. And man, he butchered. It's like he didn't even try. He didn't even try to do a good job editing. And for me, it was such a hard lesson learned on how not to get screwed and how not to, and how to actually do what to do next. And so one thing I do, like, I'm not a guy that's out to make money. I make plenty of money in my work. So I try to give and help people as much as I can with advice. There's all types of stuff out there where you can get online and, pay me $50 and I'll teach you how to write a book. I'm not argue. I mean, I'm nobody. I'm just a guy that wants to help veterans, man. If you have questions about how trying to write a book, I am not an expert, but I will help you, and I will help you not get screwed over. That's my thing. And I'm not going to charge you for it because I care about veterans and I care about people. This ain't about making money. This is about getting the message out there, dude. That's all it is, man. And man, that's the important thing, man. I don't want people to get burned like I burned, dude. So I'm trying to find somebody to help me get the book redone and do a second edition. And also there's also an audio book for people that are like me. I did the audio book myself. I read it and I hired a guy to help me do the editing. He did a decent job. So also you go to Audible, man, and you can go to Audible, Ian Pitts Memoirs of an American Patriot, and also get the audio version read by me.
You need to hook him up with Matthias.
Well, so he's already hooked up with Matthias, but I was going to say, Heroes Media Group, which I'm actually part of HMG now. Adam Bird is who you need to get in contact with. Matter of fact, what we will do when we get off of here, I will connect you and him via text message, and he does. He helps authors with audio books. He helps authors with get them published. He's an amazing guy. So you definitely need to get hooked up with him. So I will make that connection once we get off of here. Normally he pops in. I haven't seen him. I know he was at the NCAA tournament games. He's covering those right now. So, but I will get you and him connected for sure. No, man, I'm excited about our continued partnership with the Tip of the Spear Veterans Roundtable, and if I can help you any way to promote your book, I'm going to. And you also do a podcast too. And what you do with your podcast is you bring in other authors, and it doesn't really have to be veteran authors, but any author that's out there. So if you wrote a book and you want to be on Dexter's show, reach out to him at pitts@yahoo.com, and get connected with Dexter that way. Dexter,
I'm a little
I wanna say
backlog right now, so I'm more trying to get through all the stuff, man. I got a lot going on, so I
Give them
definitely want to
grace.
have more people on.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, you're
man.
a
Give me
one
some.
man show. You're
Yeah,
a
it's rough,
one man
dude.
show,
It's rough.
and you're a police officer, a family man. You teach Sunday school at church. You a busy man, my friend.
He's a
You
disabled veteran.
and a
He's got his
disabled
own
veteran.
shit.
So yeah,
Mhm.
man, dude, I'm super proud of you.
Mhm.
And
I
I can't
appreciate
wait
that,
to
man.
see. You're welcome, and I can't wait to see where you go from here. I'm in your corner. Candace is in your corner.
Absolutely.
We're all here for you. If you need anything from me, you got my phone number, and I'm here for you, brother.
Absolutely, man. I look forward to seeing you in Toys for Tots again this year. While I'm
Well,
freezing in the
hopefully,
rain and you cruising by, dog.
well, hopefully, I
That's
see
the
you
first time we actually
before
saw
then.
each other. Well, hopefully
I
way
know,
before
right?
that, but
Well,
Yeah, we were together then. What?
yeah,
What?
he was on the side of the road when we were coming up.
I was stuck in the truck with this
Palatka.
fool,
When we were
like
coming,
in
Palatka.
between two fools.
yeah, when we were coming up Palatka, he was on the side of the road, and
Oh
I
yeah, you
said,
were.
"Look, there's
Yes, that's
Dexter."
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, she
Okay.
was in the. Were you were in the back in between Lorelai and what's her name?
No, I wasn't.
So
I
it
was
was
in the
nice and
front
cold that
between
day,
you and
boy.
James
Dude, it was nice
because
and
I
cold
kept
that day.
bothering you and like leaning in. And remember?
Yeah, it was cold that day, but no, man. Hopefully, I'll see you before Toys for Tots
Absolutely.
again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we have, we got the Traveling Wall coming to Shepherdsville, July 25th through the 30th, which is
When
the
is it?
Vietnam. Yeah, it's July
Oh,
25th
really?
through the 30th.
The escorts on the 24th.
And the escorts on the 24th. It's going to go from Mount Washington to Shepherdsville, City Park in Shepherdsville. It's an 80% replica of the Vietnam Wall. It also has the Cost of Freedom tribute as well.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have live music on the 26th and 27th. There's going to be food trucks. There's going to be other vendors as well. And then we have our concert November 9th at Mount Washington. It's our third annual Veteran and First Responder Suicide Awareness Concert on November 9th out here at Mount Washington. We got 12 hours of music, so 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., 12 hours of music. And then yeah, I mean, it's going to be a pretty busy year. And then we're trying to put some other things together as well, but we'll definitely have to get together before then. And hell, I might even just have you come out to the house and we'll do a little barbecue or something, man.
I'm down for it, brother.
Awesome.
Heck yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on here and spending this 2 hours with us, man. And I can't wait to see what you need. And like I said, I'm gonna get you connected with Adam. I think he'd be a good asset to you and help you with your book and stuff. So
Your wife is clowning.
Dude,
No,
bro.
that's not true. Julie can't cook. She burns water.
Yeah, my
She
wife.
burns water.
Oh man,
I do
Like,
all the cooking.
She's had firemen at the house because she can't cook. I love you, Julie. I
Oh,
love
man.
you, Julie. You know, so Dexter, I have to tell you, like, thank you for being so open and raw and vulnerable. And you know, at the beginning of this podcast, like I had two really emotional, mushy men around me, and you know, there's something about that. There's something very actually masculine and just manly about that for you guys to be able to express your vulnerabilities for another man to see that as well and go, you know what, that's all right. And look what you've done. Look at what you've accomplished in life and the things that you have overcame, and it's still okay. It's
I know
okay
too many
to
tough
be
guys that
vulnerable and
don't show
raw.
emotions that have killed themselves, man. And I don't want to fall in that category. I almost did. I said never
But we
again.
talked about But I mean, we talked about some touchy stuff tonight, and I appreciate that. Like, just as a civilian and an advocate for, you know, veterans and first responders and human, you know, just humans.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all, man. I really, anytime
thank you
anybody
for your
gives me their
services.
platform, I'm always grateful, man. Always grateful to be part of the veteran community with you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, like I said, if I get any, I got Michelle Black coming up, who is a Gold Star widow. I think I don't know if I sent her to you or not, but I'm going to. And I think I might have a couple more authors coming up as well. I will definitely send them your way. I know I got Jason Downing, which I already sent to you.
Mhm.
Matthias Carter. I think I sent maybe one or two more. Maybe I can't remember. My days keep running together some days.
Oh,
But
trust me about it. Trust me. I'm with you.
but
Quit
no,
taking off duty work.
Oh, I know I need to, man. Well, I'm gonna be out for the month of April with knee surgery, so I'm gonna try to get a lot of stuff done during that time.
Well,
man.
that don't count. That don't
It
count.
does. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be at work. I'm happy.
but he's still going to be working, even though he's not going to
Yeah,
be at his day job. He's still going to be working because he's got
be
to
working.
get his podcast caught up and stuff like that. So no, man, I'm excited to see where you go with your podcast and where you go with your book and everything that you got going on. And like I said, if I can support you in any way, I'm here for you. Candace, if she can support
Absolutely.
you, we're here. So we got your six, my brother. That's for sure.
Believe it, man. Absolutely, man. What about Derby? Oh no, I'm not gonna be.
He's
Well,
St.
I might.
Matthews now. He's not.
I don't
I
have
mean,
to
it's
work
a
Derby.
day.
But
You're
if I'm
only off in
healthy,
April.
if I'm fully healed by then, I'm definitely going to get me one of them side gigs paying like 150 an hour that night. I
There
will
you
be
go.
there for that. If I'm on crutches, I'm getting
You
my
hear that,
money.
everybody? The requirement for Dexter Pitts in Louisville, Kentucky
It's $150
is
an hour.
minimum $150 an hour. That could be watching a parking lot.
Yep.
That could be for a private party.
It
Do
could
we
be
do
whatever.
those?
I'm open for
Do we do those,
contract, baby.
Mr. Pitt?
I'm open
Hey,
for contract.
there
Might
you
be on
go.
The
crutches,
money
but I'll
is
be
right.
there.
If the money is right.
All right, my brother. It was great
Man,
talking
y'all have
to
a good
you.
one, man.
Yes, sir. You too, buddy.
Appreciate y'all.
Dude, how cool was that?
Look, you have fired me from every single episode, and that there's been some that I absolutely love, and even the ones that I'm not on that I sit back and I listen, or I go back and I listen to. This is my favorite one so far, and it's that vulnerability and that rawness. There was nothing off limits. There were no boundaries, and he's freaking awesome. But I'm gonna pull you and go, he's simply amazing.
Dude,
Like, seriously.
dude, Dexter is awesome. He is amazing. Just to the life that he's lived.
Yeah.
He's a Purple Heart veteran. He is a police officer, currently active. He's an author. He's a podcast host. He's a family man. He's a churchgoer. He teaches Sunday school. I mean, come on, bro.
That's a good human being right there. Like, I'm not even gonna go man. I mean, it's a good man, but that's a good human being right there.
Yeah.
To be so selfless.
Yeah.
In life.
Yeah.
And in every aspect. You talk about your heritage and your background, and talking about his parents. It's the next generation. We're picking cotton to take care of their families, and to be able to continue to be so selfless.
Yeah.
And so non-judgmental. And he explains it. There was a time where he was angry and people were grooming him, but looking at the human that he is now, like,
yeah,
I wish I lived in St. Matthews because he's an officer there.
Yeah.
I would feel safe. I would feel safe knowing that man is out on my streets.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
This has been my favorite.
Like I said,
Absolutely.
I'm going to get him and Adam connected with
Mhm.
Heroes Media Group. I think Adam can help him out and what he wants to do with his next book and stuff like
Yes,
that.
write another book.
And like I always say, guys, you got to ask that next hard question, because there's too many veterans out there that are committing suicide. You have to ask that next hard question. Go up to somebody. If don't just pass them, say, "How you doing today, Candace?" and just keep walking.
How
Because
you really doing today, Willis?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Are you really?
No, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Every day's a struggle.
It is.
And you have to ask that next hard question, because if you don't, it might be too late.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's just going up to somebody and talking to them and carrying on conversation, because that veteran might be thinking about committing suicide later that night, might not be doing it right there at that moment in time.
Yeah.
But it's in their brain that they're thinking, hey, when I get home later, I'm gonna swallow a 9mm.
Mm-hmm.
Too many veterans every night put a 9mm in their mouth. And or any gun, not just say 9mm, but any kind of type of weapon.
Right.
And think about pulling that trigger. And sometimes just carrying on a conversation with them is all they need. To let them know. you let them know they are enough and that somebody needs them. As my friend Scott Blake, if he was on here, he'd tell you that somebody is looking for you to show up tomorrow.
Mhm.
So you always have to show up.
Mhm.
You got, because somebody loves you. You are enough. So you just have to show up. And, you know,
It's another big thing for me in that, though, is like make sure you care enough to hear the answer.
yeah.
You're going to ask that next question. Like, make sure you're prepared and ready
Yeah.
to hear that answer.
No, I agree with you 100%. And like I say, one veteran at a time, guys. All it takes is one veteran. If you help one veteran today or one human, let's even go further. One human today, that human's going to turn around and help somebody tomorrow.
Yep.
So you definitely have to keep asking that next hard question and take care of one person today. I'm going to change that from one veteran at a time to one human at a time, because that's all it takes is one human at a time. So, like I said, we had a great guest on tonight, Dexter Pitts, right here.
Yeah.
You go to iampitts.com. You can get his book. He's a Purple Heart recipient, medically retired from U.S. Army veteran. So definitely, man, you gotta do what you gotta do and take care of each other, man. But like I always say, Candace, stay safe out there, and we got your 6. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your 6.